So do you think there's going to be any emotional trauma this week?
From what?
Just this podcast. We always end up hurting ourselves in one way or another.
I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of anything I have to say that's too controversial. I have a feeling you're going to hurt me somehow, but especially with that grin on your face, I never know what's going to happen.
Probably. You never know, right? You never know.
Yeah, I mean, what are you hiding back there behind that grin?
So many secrets. So many secrets.
All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lock S foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Animal Squadron podcast. This is your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And also, the Minoc.
The favorite host.
That's right. I'm still chewing on wires, still hanging on for dear life. We're having a good time.
Mac's been gone for 2 weeks, and he's been replaced as favorite host.
Maybe one of these days I'll be allowed in the cabin. Maybe I can even fly the Millennium Falcon.
Maybe one day, yeah, for sure.
And you guys are just gonna keep dragging me along, just yeah, sure, Tuck, this time we'll let you in.
Yeah, come on, just hold on a little longer. You've almost got the rights to come inside.
Well, and also to our listeners out there, it's gotten pretty messed up. They even they'll egg me on, they'll have little Minoc food in there, and they'll be like, "Oh, come in, Tuck, come on!" And then the second I get close, they close the door on me and they take off. It's messed up. It's not cool.
We'll only keep doing it for a little longer.
And that classic gag of I'm on a curb and they have the Millennium Falcon. I go to reach for the door handle and they just scoot the car up a little bit, so I can't grab the handle. Yeah,
then you fly forward just a little bit to get in,
yeah.
And then we go forward a little bit more, and it's this never-ending cycle.
Yep, yeah, they're just laughing. They're like, no, seriously, dude, seriously, we'll let you in this time. And then they scoot forward again. Yeah.
For real.
Yep, it's not cool. But really, at some point, it's my fault for letting them do it, so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Tuck, listen, you gotta stay true to yourself. You can't start putting yourself down.
But also, Minocs are stage 5 clingers. I'm doing my Minoc thing by clinging.
That is true. That is true. Sometimes it hurts less to let go than holding on. You want to tell everybody what we're talking about today?
Yeah, sure. So today, everyone, we are talking about our 5 favorite, and also, as always, honorable mentions, 5 favorite Sith Lords, or doesn't even have to necessarily be Sith Lords, but just our 5 favorite Sith/Darkside users.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yep, it's gonna be a good time for everyone.
So last week I kind of took the lead. Do you wanna take the lead this time?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just start us off hot. All
right.
And tell you all my number 5, which is, I'm not hearing a drum roll. Come on, Elijah. Thank you. Which is Darth Maul.
Okay, that's awesome. Because my number 5 is also Darth Maul.
Really? Well, let's just talk about him together, I guess.
Let's just talk about him together. Go ahead, Tuck.
My favorite thing about Darth Maul is I really think that although he is not what you would call truly a powerful Sith, especially compared to a lot of his equals. For instance, he never is the leader of the Sith. He never is the true Dark Lord.
Right.
He always manages to be a thorough pain in everyone's side. He is such a good bad guy. And one way he does that I always think of, and this is heartbreaking, but him in Clone Wars, just all the stuff he does just to play everyone against each other. He's playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers.
Right.
One thing he tells Savage, whenever they get on that planet and they're trying to lure Obi-Wan and other Jedi to them, is, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says basically that the way to lure the Jedi to us are through the slaughter of innocents. And then he turns on his lightsaber and you see all the kids playing, and then like the scene ends. And
right.
And like,
yeah,
that is just so evil. Like, he's so good at that. And then like, also like, you know, the man leads a crime syndicate successfully for a long time, managing to evade everyone who comes after him for a long time. He fights Inquisitors and wins. He killed Qui-Gon, who was like, you know, one of the best Jedi Masters of the era. I mean, it's pretty hard to not say that he's not a great Sith. I mean, he just really is.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of on those points, not only was he making life hard for the Jedi and the Republic, he was making hard life for the Separatists and Palpatine.
It's a hard knock life.
Yeah. He just wanted to piss everybody off, and he did a great job.
That's right, yeah. And also, like, I mean, even, like, he evades Palpatine and also, like, you know, Dooku and the CIS, the Republic and the Jedi. He just outruns them all for a long time.
Yeah, and I think his darkest moment, killing Satine in front of Obi-Wan.
Yep, but also he did that on purpose. He had to, I mean...
100%, yeah.
Yep, he did it because he just wanted to take everything from Obi-Wan.
He wanted to hurt Obi-Wan, and you know what? He sure did. Sure did.
That's right. Yep, yeah, again, he was playing chess. He knew what to do.
Yeah, I think all except for one Sith on this list actually, I think, dies a Sith. Everyone else either turns to a Jedi, or in Maul's case, like, he's not necessarily a Sith anymore, but he's still a dark side user. He's still got his red lightsaber, you know? He's still a menace to society.
That's right.
He essentially stays a Sith, just without the title. Like, he's still doing Sith things.
He's still got that dog in him.
He's still got that dog in him. I also wanted to talk about him, like, aesthetically. I think Maul is the scariest looking Sith, hands down.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. See, I think, like, I mean, he is scary, definitely. But, like, you're telling me that, like, so I'll just set up a scenario for you. Like, let's imagine we're in the last scene of Rogue One, right? And it's a dark ship, and it's smoky, and then all of a sudden you just hear Vader's breathing. You don't see anything yet, you just hear him breathe. I think that's scarier than Maul. I think that's way scarier than Maul.
Ooh. But I'm talking just, like, visually, not like power or atmosphere, just like character design alone, scariest.
But then what about, like, Malgus? He's scary.
Malgus is pretty scary, but I mean, we got the horns, the red with the black across his face.
Yeah, but Malgus in a hood especially is pretty scary. Like, you just see the respirator and that's it. You know what? You take that back. That's not nice.
That's it. That's my line. And you crossed it.
You can kill Plo Koon 1,000,000 times, but don't you dare call me Darth Malgus.
I'm sorry, Tuck. I take it back, I swear.
You better.
But no, I really like Maul. I really like his, like, duo with Savage. I think they made a good team. It was heartbreaking when Palpatine just murked them.
Yeah.
Just
that's why
let him
Palpatine's
have
most certainly higher on my list than Maul. It's just because, I mean, they're really no match for him.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, even together, he still just... He played with them. They were toys to Palpatine.
Oh, yeah.
But also, controversial statement, Palpatine's not on my list.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, okay, so I was a little bit, like, I'd forgotten a bunch about, like, several Sith Lords, and so I was doing a bunch of, like, lore watch through before this. And like on anyone's list, pretty much on YouTube, Palpatine's top 3, at least.
Yeah.
So actually, like, more importantly, let's just talk about why isn't Palpatine on your list, Elijah?
Because he annoys me. He pisses me off.
But that's the point. He's a villain. He's a villain. He's not supposed to be liked.
No, I know. But, like, he just makes my blood boil, especially what he does to Anakin. Like, that line in Revenge of the Sith, we've talked about it on the podcast before, but where he tells Anakin that he won't be strong enough until he slays all of the Jedi in the temple. Like, you can't save Padme until all of the Jedi are dead, just to ensure that he wouldn't stop.
You can't have your toy until you eat all the chicken nuggets.
Yep. He's a fantastic Sith, but it just makes my blood boil.
All right.
Do you have anything else about Darth Maul that you want to say, or should we move on?
I don't. Like, really, he's my top 5, in all honesty, because I just like him. You know, like, it's not...
Same.
Again, it's not that he's, like, the most powerful. Like, I mean, I can go ahead and name 5 Sith that would absolutely murk him, but...
Yeah, for sure.
But he's cool. He's cool. That's it. That's my argument. He's cool.
He really is. I think my last 2 points that I want to make are, 1, Duel of the Fates, freaking sick.
Yeah.
The music and that fight scene in general were just so amazing. And then lastly, I really hope in the future we get to see more of Maul as a crime boss.
Oh yeah, me too.
I definitely want to see more, especially like around the Solo era. I feel like they were setting up a live action Maul film or series, and like I want that. I know Solo didn't do great in the box office, but I want live action Maul back.
Yeah, dude, I still stand by, like, I really think with Tales of the Jedi and its success, they should do Tales of the Sith.
Yes.
I think that'd be so cool. And also, like, make some of these characters that we're about to talk about canon. You know, like the pre-Republic characters and like stuff like that. Like, I think it'd be a great time to talk about that. And you could do it on the side because, like, they're 20-minute episodes. Like, you can make 20-minute episodes. It's not that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, who you got? Number 4.
Darth Vader.
Whoa. Okay, that's low. That's low. I am shook.
And it's
I
because...
am shook right now.
So Vader, I mean, just while we're going on hot takes here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this dagger out. But, you know, I don't think Vader would have been able to redeem himself or kill Palpatine without Luke. I don't think he could have done it by himself.
No, I agree. I do. I think Vader was a prisoner, and like, he was a broken man. Like, I love Vader. He's so cool, but he was a broken man.
Yeah, and I don't think he could have taken Palpatine by himself.
I think he might, like, if he ever decided to fight Palpatine, he may have been able to, but I think Palpatine had him so manipulated and so, like, shackled down mentally that he never would have tried to.
Yeah, well, but also he does try to, like, in the EU, remember, like, all the
all the
apprentices and stuff, like, that's his whole point is to kill Palpatine, but Palpatine outsmarts him every single time, and that's why I think that's why Darth Vader's on my list that low, is just because, like, the other Sith Lords I have on there could take Palpatine.
Yeah.
And so all, you know, it's all just like, as far as ranking goes, I just didn't feel right about putting Darth Vader, even though I love Darth Vader. Like, right now, I mean, you guys can't see it, but like, I've got a Darth Vader, like, Xbox controller holder next to my computer. And like, you know, I love, and like in my bathroom, I have a painting that my wife got me for my birthday last year. That it's Darth Vader on the toilet and he's reading a newspaper and it says "Taking a Sith," and I love that. I love Darth Vader.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
I love Darth Vader. But anyways, so yeah, that's why he's so low on my list. But I mean, while we're here, might as well talk about him. He you know, I mean, I think as far as duelists, even in like, you know, armor that slows him down, armor that is excruciatingly painful, not even having all of his limbs, this man just destroys people. Like, it's just like, it's unfair most of the times whenever he fights people. Especially like in the early days with Darth Vader. I mean, all the Inquisitors feared him. And it's because like anyone who ever tried died. Like, it's just like he's unbeatable. And as far as like a one-on-one fair duel where it's just him and another person, I mean, he can beat pretty much anybody. Yeah, I mean, his also as far as just like sheer power, I mean, he's one of the most powerful in the Force. I think the only thing that hurts him is that as far as canon goes, he can't use Force lightning. So like that kind of makes him not quite as powerful as the other guys. But I mean, you know, I mean, he like in Empire, the man eats a bullet with his hand. And that's pretty powerful in the Force. Just out of sheer rage, whenever he finds out that Padme's dead, I mean, he crushes like thousands of pounds of metal just out of rage.
Yeah, and I think his best feat is in what is it? Jedi Fallen Order, where he stops the water.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about heavy. So water, you know, I mean, that far underwater, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was like, I don't know, let's say like tens of thousands of pounds, at least like several tons of water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he stops it. It takes his full concentration. Like, he can't do anything else, but he does it.
He stops it.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I think Vader is definitely powerful enough to, if he wanted to, could have probably ripped a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, look at Kenobi. How easily he stops that ship.
Yeah, he does it with one hand.
Yeah, hand. Not even sweating, and you're back on the ground.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and first Sith we see.
It's true. First Sith we see. Yep.
Do you remember in the Revenge of the Sith video game when playing through the campaign and you're playing as Anakin and your Force ability switches from your Force push to the Force lightning for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a cool moment.
Mm-hmm. Or Battlefront 2. Doesn't he get Force lightning in Battlefront 2?
I'm not sure.
Or no, wait, he's not on the dark side. Never mind. They have Darth Vader instead. Yeah, never mind. It is Episode 3 that I'm thinking of.
Nothing like a good old Anakin versus Darth Vader fight.
Oh, yeah. That's just, gotta have it. Or,
you
know, as Elijah likes to call him, light-skinned Vader versus versus dark side Vader in Episode 3. That's actually my little brother listened to that podcast. That's his favorite like term that we've ever used.
The light-skinned Vader.
The light-skinned Vader. That always cracks him up.
Hey, listen, we gotta get your brother on the podcast.
Yeah, we do. I think he'd be a lot of fun.
All three of your brothers at some point gotta come on here.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Even like the oldest brother, like he's not really like a big Star Wars guy, but I just think it'd be fun. I think it'd be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep it real chill.
Yeah.
You got anything on Vader? Or anything else you want to add?
I don't really know what else I can really say about him. I mean, there's just like there's 6 movies about the guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's great.
I mean, spoilers, he's definitely on my list somewhere, so we'll get another chance to talk about him.
Okay, I like it.
All right, my number 4, again, someone that doesn't stay a Sith very long, our good boy Galen Merrick, aka Starkiller.
All right. That seems kind of high.
Yeah, Vader's secret apprentice. I mean, he was on the list last week as a Jedi. I feel like he deserves his spot as a Sith too.
Oh man, we got a twofer. I like it.
I really love his story of like going from Vader's secret apprentice to Vader betraying him and then being like, "Hey, just kidding. I'm not actually betraying you. I want you to go build a rebellion, gather all of the Emperor's enemies into one spot so we can wipe them out at once," to, you know, doing that, realizing that these people are good, you know, leading to their downfall like he was supposed to, and then deciding to save them in the end. I love his story. I love just how ridiculous the power scaling is for this game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's untouchable. He's just he is stupid powerful. Yeah.
Stupid powerful. Yeah, and I think technically lore-wise, going off the books, I think he scales somewhere close to Obi-Wan, if I remember correctly. But I mean, the games are just a whole nother beast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like he's like most powerful Sith ever in the games. Yeah.
I love his fighting style. I love that, like, in the very beginning, Vader is like, he goes and he kills Galen's father, and he's like, "Where's your master? I sense a more powerful Jedi here." And then it's just a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and even his clone's powerful in the second game.
Even his clone's powerful. Yeah. Just, again, giving Vader the works.
Yep.
I love the fact that, like, he has different endings in the game. That's all gameplay stuff, but Starkiller is one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I definitely think, I mean, my other list he only got on as an honorable mention. He's actually got an actual spot here, but I feel like he deserves both.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'd stand by it. If you put number one, though, I think I'd have to wig out about that. But yeah, but I mean, he's
agree.
Good. He's good.
I don't think he was a Sith long enough. I don't think he did enough as a Sith to deserve a number one spot.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I really hope they bring him to canon in some way. You know, I know they're gonna have to change his story a lot because it wouldn't line up with what we already know, at least in terms of starting the rebellion. But I would love to see Vader's secret apprentice actually shown somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could agree with that, yeah.
But yeah, I think, oh yeah, and he's just cool. Really, I mean, that's it. He's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's our final thought pretty much on everyone. It's just,
yeah,
they're cool.
Yeah.
That's why we like them. They're cool.
All right, number 3, who you got?
I have Plagueis.
Ooh. A good pick.
Plagueis, I will just say right now, I mean, he's, whether Palpatine would admit it or not, he's Palpatine's inspiration for how to play the game. You know, like, we're talking about, like, you know, Plagueis was this, you know, his species, I think they're called Moon, M-U-N, right?
I'm not sure, but I can look it up.
But yeah, if you would, that'd be great. But I'll keep talking. But so this race, they are the same ones as are head of the banking clan in like episodes 1, 2, and 3. And Plagueis basically is a Sith Lord, and he's a high up banker pretty much his whole life. So like that whole double life, using your double life to your advantage to further your goals. I think that's really a big inspiration for Palpatine, and really, he is who taught Palpatine to do all that. I think in a lot of ways, Palpatine's plan couldn't have been accomplished without the teachings of Plagueis. And also Plagueis, I mean, it's no longer canon, and this kind of upsets me. But, like, you know, that the theory for a long time, as far as Plagueis being able to influence midichlorians and all that stuff, was that he created Anakin.
And, okay, I still think that's canon.
I still believe it personally. I don't really vibe with the whole that Palpatine did it.
Yes, so that scene, if I can go on just a small tangent,
Please do.
is a lot of people take that clip from I think it's a comic that we got as reality, but that if you actually look at it in context, it's all from Vader's perspective. Vader is looking at Palpatine, and the whole point of it is he's under the assumption that Palpatine has been in control of his life the whole time. So it's not what actually happened, it's just what Vader thinks happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the whole Palpatine creating him thing isn't confirmed based on that comic like people think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, which also on that note too, I mean, no matter what, Plagueis thought that he created Anakin. Whenever they discovered him, Plagueis assumes that through his experiments that's what happened. And so no matter what, Plagueis thinks that he created Anakin. And whenever they discover Anakin and find out who he is, during like Phantom Menace, for instance, he's a lot of the reason why Palpatine decides that he needs him.
Yeah.
Because Plagueis also thought that he needed him.
Yeah.
And Palpatine just decided to use Anakin for himself.
Right, and I mean, lore-wise, I think Plagueis is one of the most powerful Sith out there. Like, we've talked about on this podcast time after time how strong Palpatine is, and yet Palpatine couldn't actually kill Plagueis in a fair fight. He had to kill him in his sleep.
Yeah, and also not just his sleep, but like Plagueis for a long time before that didn't really sleep. I mean, he was so paranoid about dying, which was part of his influence for the search for immortality. But,
right.
The only way that Palpatine gets him to sleep is by getting him slammied. That's the only way. And so, like, you can't tell me that Palpatine didn't know that Plagueis was more powerful than him, because if I was going to fight somebody like that, I'd fight him fair. I would only cheat if I thought that they were going to beat me. And so, like, the fact that he gets him just slammed and gets him to go to sleep and then kills him in his sleep tells me that Plagueis would have beat him, and probably beat him bad at that point in Palpatine's life. Now, I mean, he was still young. He had a lot to learn, but... Yeah,
and I don't think Plagueis would have killed Palpatine. I think Plagueis recognized that they needed Palpatine. Palpatine was the politician of the group. For their plan to succeed, Palpatine had to live, but he definitely would have put him in his place real fast.
Oh yeah, and I think he would have, like, seriously mangled him. I don't think he would have let Palpatine get away unscathed.
Yeah.
Probably.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and then also, and this was something that, full disclosure, I relearned, a few minutes ago whenever I was watching lore videos and stuff, trying to catch back up with all these Sith characters. But did you ever hear about how Plagueis kills Tenebris, his master?
No,
So it's basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but they are on this ship that's coming down, and they're trying to get away, and Tenebris had just fought off like a bunch of people and was very, 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 very tired already. Plagueis senses that he's tired and weak, and so he realizes that this is his moment, and he influences the debris falling down to crush Tenebris. And so Tenebris, is mortally wounded. He's lying there, and then Plagueis runs over there and tries to act like he's trying to help him, and in just his sheer pride, he tells Tenebris what just happened. He's like, "I crushed you, ha 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 ha," and then he snaps Tenebris's neck, and that's it.
Wow, what a swell, pleasant guy.
Yeah, what a dude.
He sounds like a fun person to have a barbecue with.
Yep. Yeah, he just does not, But also, he's a Sith, and that's usually how the story goes for them.
Right.
Also, one thing I like about him is Plagueis actually didn't like the rule of 2.
Ooh, interesting.
His plan was to have, basically many apprentices and be ruler of the galaxy.
Yeah, because, I mean, Maul and Plagueis were around at the same time, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if there's a book on this or not as far as, like, if Plagueis knew about Maul or not.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I would think that if he did know, he was probably okay with it just because he didn't like the rule of 3 and was confident enough that he could beat both Palpatine and Maul at the time.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he would have been able to.
Yeah. And so, anyway, but that's, like, Plagueis really, just as far as his force powers, that's why he's so high on my list. I really think that had Palpatine died at a young age, I really think that, honestly, Plagueis would have just found another politician to accomplish his plan and have been equally as powerful.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, he would have just kept going.
Yeah, and so to answer your question earlier, it is the Moon, Muun, for his species.
Okay.
But yeah, really, really cool guy.
Yep. Yeah, just an evil dude. But that's what
Evil,
this list
evil
is all
dude.
about. So.
Yep. My number 3, Darth Revan.
Okay, yeah. Tell us why.
Again, we're going off video games here. I mean, I think he's appeared in novels and some other stuff, but as far as I remember, his first appearance, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
I loved the lore there. Him and his apprentice. I think this was during the Jedi Mandalorian War. They went off on this journey with a bunch of Jedi, and then they came back as a Sith army. Like, they went and found a bunch of Sith artifacts and got corrupted.
Yeah.
And came back and just started a whole nother war. Just, hey, sorry, guys. I know you just stopped this really long war that was really tiring and hard on you. But here, have another. Double it. Give it to the next galaxy.
Yeah.
I thought, like, the whole fact that he loses his memory and the Jedi are like, oh, well, let's just convince him he was a Jedi the whole time and start using him as our puppet to stop. What was it? Darth Malchus? That doesn't seem right. His apprentice.
Was it
I'll
Malchus?
have to.
Wait, no,
let me
I
look.
thought he's the one. His apprentice is the guy that he should be dead.
Malik, that's it.
Yeah,
Darth
I was gonna say,
Malik.
but his hatred keeps him alive.
Which is just a common Sith thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because Malik, he's the one who's like, looking at him like he's basically a decomposing body, right?
Yeah.
But he's just so full of hate that he just keeps going. The zombie Sith.
Right. But I love the fact that, like, as you're playing through the game, you get to decide if you want to be a Sith or a Jedi. You get to go visit some different schools. And I think canon-wise, he does end up staying a Jedi in the end. But as the player, you get to make that choice, whether he is a Sith or a Jedi. And I really love that. I think it's really cool. It's something we get to see in The Force Unleashed, but not in the same depth. Like, every decision in Knights of the Old Republic is a light side or dark side decision, and I love that. Like, you get a little meter showing you where you are.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and like I said, I love the lore from Jedi to Sith to Jedi again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool story of redemption for sure. Also with Revan too, there's a good book series on him, isn't there?
I think so. Yeah, I haven't read it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think it's like a 3-part series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Novels.
I mean, we can't forget the whole dual lightsaber, one red, one purple.
Oh yeah, yeah, and also like, dude, his mask, he is menacing, dude. He's so
He
scary.
really is.
Yeah,
Like, again, aesthetically, one of my favorite looking Siths.
absolutely.
And I love that when he returns to being a Jedi, he essentially just gets a white robe instead.
Yeah,
It's just like, all right.
he's like, I'm
But
the
he
same
keeps
dude.
the mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Does he keep the red lightsaber?
I think so, yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And I think lore-wise, he's definitely one of the most powerful. I don't think he may not be top 3, maybe not even top 5, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah, well, I know it's been a long time since I read these. Long time. But like some of the original EU novels with like Jason Solo, Anakin Solo, and Ben Skywalker and all them. Revan was, I think it's Jason Solo who goes dark.
I believe so, yes.
And like I remember reading anyway that Revan is one of his like heavy influences.
Of course.
As far as like, you know, who the kind of Sith he wants to be. So that's just kind of interesting. Like the main character of like the EU novels wants to be Revan. That's his whole deal. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Also, I don't know if I've told our audience this on the podcast, but Knights of the Old Republic, played through the entire game, loved it. Got to the last boss fight, final fight in the game, and my game glitched, and I got stuck in the loading screen.
No.
And I never got back to finish it.
Oh my gosh, was that recent?
No, this was like back when I lived in New Mexico, so like my freshman year of high school, maybe.
And it's like circa like 2012.
Yeah, a while ago. And
Oh, dude.
emotionally, I could just never like get myself back.
You poor
I could
guy.
never go back.
You poor guy.
'Cause, you know, which looking at it now, it's not that much compared to other games, but I put like 24, 25 hours into the game getting to that point. And at that age, I was like, man, that's so many hours I put into a game. I can never do this again. And now I'm an adult, and there are several video games that I've put over 1,000 hours into.
Several? My dude.
Don't even worry about it. Tuck, don't even worry about it.
Wow. No, that is
I swear
impressive.
I've touched grass. I swear.
Dad gum, dude. That is crazy.
I love video games. It's probably my favorite industry. It's my favorite pastime. I just, some you get lost in.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you know this, like I've never been a big like video game guy. Like only the past like year or so I've gotten more into it. But like I don't even know if I've put 100 hours into a game before, honestly.
Really?
Well, actually no. The original Battlefront 2, like PlayStation Battlefront 2, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I probably put hundreds of hours into that, but that's probably the only thing I can really think of that like I really like played the crap out of. Yeah. But that's wow, I'm impressed with you putting thousands of hours into a game. That's big stuff. Big stuff
for sure. But no, that's really it. Revan's, he's cool. He's cool,
man. He's got that dog in him. Absolutely.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, I have XR Kun.
Ooh, okay.
So number 1, the man invented the double-bladed lightsaber, and that's awesome. I mean, that's what more can I say? He just straight up was one of the Jedi's best warriors whenever he was a Jedi. And then was also their greatest menace whenever he turned.
Right.
And then just I've got some points here like so like one thing he did was he kills the Chancellor of the Republic at the time. And this dude uses like Sith magic and becomes an expert at it to a point where he can almost like control people's minds and a bunch of people's minds at once, and he uses it to take control of the Senate. And so he almost takes control of the galaxy that way. And then also, like, one of my favorite things about him is, like, the dude figures out how to... Because, like, so in Star Wars lore, and I don't know what Disney will do eventually, but always the thing is that Sith can't be Force ghosts the same way that light side users can.
Right.
Whereas, like, you know, like a light side Force ghost, they can wander the universe. They can, like, they're still individual. But what Exar Kun does is he figures out a way to still be able to do that. Now, with the dark side Force ghost, like, basically you have to, like, haunt an object or, like, a place.
Right.
That's kind of... But he figures it out, and actually, like, in the EU, he fights Luke Skywalker.
Oh, nice.
So, like, you know, like, we're talking, like, thousands of years apart. And
still just chilling.
Yeah, and you know, like, I think it's, like, 4,000-ish years. Like, I think, like, you know, Exar Kun's time was, like, you know, 3,600 BBY or something like that. And so Luke fights him in, like, you know, 60 ABY. Well, I mean, that's crazy. Like 4,000 plus years, and he's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He, like, according to this, like, a couple lore videos I watched on him, like, he, at one point is able to use the Force to dislodge opponents' organs and kill them from the inside. Yeah. He's a master of Dark Side Heal, which is basically he'll take your health from you while he's fighting you.
Anakin sure could have used that one.
Yep, he was
sure
also
could have used that one.
A master of Force Rage, which is a dark side power that basically, like, you just use all of your energy to fight someone. And typically when someone uses Force Rage, like, after the rage is done, then they, like, are exhausted. But he actually got so good at it that he wouldn't get exhausted after. And so he could just keep raging. And,
wow.
You know, just was an absolute animal. He destroyed the Jedi homeworld of Ossus. And also, arguably, he never lost in a duel.
Okay, but I gotta know. How did this duel against Luke go?
Luke won, but, like, he just, like, the reason that it's arguable is because, like, Luke destroys the ghost. But not
like
actually Exar Kun.
Okay, like, does he destroy what, like, his spirit's attached to?
Yes, that's how he kills the ghost.
Okay, cool.
But arguably, you know, the man never lost.
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah.
I agree. And Luke had to use other methods to defeat him. It's not like he just beat him in a fight.
Yeah. And also, I mean, again, like, you know, the galaxy changed so much in those 4,000 years. Like, I mean, just crazy amounts. And still, he almost loses to a 4,000-year-old Sith Lord. And, and also, like, Luke, in the EU book that all this takes place in, he even, like, you know, Luke talks about how that was, like, one of his hardest fights ever. It's like, this dude almost kicks Luke's butt. And he's a ghost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
That's really cool.
Pretty intense stuff. But that's why, like, Exar Kun is one of my favorites, just because I think, like, the only reason he's not number one to me is because he didn't take full control of the galaxy. But he pretty much does everything else that I would say the best Sith Lord would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Exar Kun is one of those Sith that I've always really, like, heard about, but one I've never done much research on.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's one of those that, like, cool. He's only in comic books and books.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, it's kind of, it's not as easy as, like, Revan, for instance, who's in, like, you know, a couple of video games and he's in books and stuff. So, like, he's more approachable. Whereas, like, Exar Kun, you got to be a nerd to know who Exar Kun is.
You really got into it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, our boy?
I can't say. I mean, like, so that's my number 2. And then how about you do your number 2, and then we'll do honorable mentions. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool.
So again, just like last week, this person would not have made my list if we did it like a year ago. And it's Dooku.
Okay.
And specifically because of the Tales of the Jedi episodes and the background that we got on him.
Yeah.
I think, just being honest, like aesthetically, vibes-wise, probably one of my least favorite Sith.
Really? I like him just because of his like approachability. Like he seems like a Sith that I'd actually like.
He's a Sith you could actually like sit and like have tea with one day. Like,
yeah.
So how's the war going? Sip sip sip. Capture any good planets lately? Sip sip sip.
How's your relationship with Yaddle going?
Ooh. But no, like Tales of the Jedi, like 60 minutes, I think in total, like 3 20-minute episodes, just gave so much context and so much depth to Dooku. This is a Sith that didn't join the Sith for power or lust or hatred. This is a Sith who joined the Sith because he genuinely thought it would help the galaxy. Like, he loved the people of the galaxy and he wanted to do what was right by them. Did he do the right thing? No. But he really thought he was helping people. At least in the beginning, in the Clone Wars, he kind of gets a little malicious.
Yeah.
But I really think his heart was in the right place. Like, even killing Yaddle, I know it was hard on him, but he thought, I can save the galaxy by doing this. And
yeah, it was a sacrifice.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of tragic watching Dooku go from what we have in Tales of the Jedi to what we see in Attack of the Clones, Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith. Like, he's a lot darker later on, but I still think his motives are there. He wants to help people.
Yeah, which actually I'm just gonna kind of jump on.
Go ahead.
Dooku with you, just because he is one of my honorable mentions. So I'll go ahead and just kind of team up with you on this. But like, yeah, I mean, I really I like Dooku a lot. He is just, so I can't remember if it's George Lucas or Dave Filoni said that basically all of the Sith that we see in the movies is a shadow of who Anakin will become.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that Dooku, what I would say that his quality that Anakin will kind of use later is, and we talked about this on Tales of the Jedi, but it's Dooku's pride and like his false righteousness, just like he believes that everything he does is for the greater good. He believes at this point that the Jedi are evil. He believes that the only way to truly achieve a perfect galaxy is by eliminating the Jedi and starting over. He believes that only he can help. And that, like, his code, his way of living is the only way to achieve perfection. And that's something that, honestly, like, I don't agree, but I respect in Dooku. I really do. Yeah.
He is the fallen Jedi. So, just to jump off what you were saying, for any of our listeners that don't know, Maul represents Vader as a Sith Lord. Dooku represents Vader as a fallen Jedi, and Grievous represents Vader as a cyborg, but also as a great warrior.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really think they capture Dooku well, especially with Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah. No, I think it's excellent. Tales of the Jedi, like, even those people out there that don't like cartoons, I still think it's worth a watch. Just a one-time watch if you can do it, just because it's really important lore. I really think it is. I think, like, honestly, because Dooku wouldn't mean near as much to me without that backstory.
No, I completely agree. Dooku was still great beforehand,
Yes.
but this really added a lot. And like the fact that let's see, in episode 2, they were like, the council still viewed Dooku as a friend. They specifically say he's not a murderer, which means they never found out about what happened to Yaddle, at least at that point.
Or Sifo-Dyas.
Yeah.
Which Sifo-Dyas, he basically killed him before he killed Yaddle. You know?
Right.
It's like, that was quite a bit of time before he actually even turned. He killed one of his best friends.
Yeah, it's rough life for our boy.
Yep, but that also just illustrates again just his commitment to building what he views as a better galaxy.
Yeah.
He'd be willing to kill his best friend.
Yeah, he'll do anything.
Yeah.
Also on that, I think it's so funny that like Sifo-Dyas was originally just supposed to be Sidious, like
Oh, really?
yeah, originally the plan was that Darth Sidious ordered the clone army under the name Sifo-Dyas. Like, Sifo-Dyas wasn't a real Jedi. And then as they went on, they changed it and made him a real Jedi. But yeah, I mean, looking at it, Sidious, Sifo-Dyas, like...
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think that's all I have on Dooku. Should we do honorable mentions?
Yeah, and I'll just continue with my other one. My other honorable mention is Malgus, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Malgus, he is just a menace. He really is. Also, there's a theme as far as Sith Lords go that typically, really before Palpatine, they were warriors and duelists more than anything. That was like their number one thing, was being able to fight in lightsaber combat. All of the like messing with political systems and that kind of stuff, really, that didn't start it didn't start until like, Tenebris, Plagueis, and Palpatine. That's pretty much the line of deciding to actually mess with political systems and stuff rather than just trying to take over by brute force.
Right, especially with so few of them.
Yeah, but as far as brute force goes, Malgus is elite. So like, first of all, what video game is he in? Is he in Old Republic? Or is
I don't believe so, but go ahead and keep talking, and I'll look it up.
He's in a video game from that era. It's the same video game as like the Eternal Empires.
Oh, yes. Okay, so it's the Old Republic, which is an MMO spin-off of Knights of the Old Republic.
There we go. Yeah, so he's in the Old Republic. But like, so in that game, for instance, like, just first of all, his durability. This guy has a literal cliff, an entire cliff, fall on top of him, and he lives. Like, it's in a duel with a Jedi. I forget her name, but she pushes him against the cliff, and then she sends an even more powerful force push to collapse the cliff on top of him. And this dude, like, literally, he just needs a respirator. That's like the only thing that's wrong with him. Like, it messed up his face and needs a respirator. So like, this dude is just stupid durable. Also, he has a loved one. She's a Twi'lek. I forget her name, but basically, like, they see themselves as like they'll rule the galaxy together, and like, that's like, they have a romance and they have a relationship and all that stuff. And he realizes that she's holding him back, that she's his attachment that's messing him up. And so he actually kills her to make himself more powerful.
Yep.
Which is just like, I mean, if that's not a Sith Lord, what is? It's horrible, but I mean, what else is a Sith Lord to do? And then
Right.
also with him, just trying to keep it fairly short as far as honorable mentions go. We don't actually know if he dies or not. With the Eternal Empire, for instance, like he is at the end of the game presented to the Emperor of that empire in carbonite, and that's the last time we see him. So technically, he could have lived for long after that. We don't know.
He's just still trapped in carbonate, ready to be released. Hear me out. Maybe he should have been the main villain of the sequels.
I know, man.
Like,
It would have been cool.
Sith cultists go and find his carbonite, bring him back.
Yeah, I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite Sith as well. Didn't quite make the list, but he is up there.
Yeah.
All right, you done with your honorable mention? I don't want to.
Yep, I'm good. I made my points.
All right. So I got 3. I'll kind of keep these short. First one is Darth Plagueis. I mean, can't have a list without him. Which that's all I'll really say because we've already kind of dived deep on him. And then my next would be Darth Bane.
Okay.
Can't have the rule of 2 without Darth Bane.
You know the reason he's not on my list?
Oh, why?
Hot take. The rule of 2, yes, is what kept the Sith alive, but it also led to their downfall.
Right? Okay, yes, I completely agree. Like,
Yep. It's why they couldn't win.
I think it maybe should have been a temporary rule. Like hey, we need to hide from the Jedi for a little bit, but we'll be back kind of a thing. Not a set, here's what we need to do forever. But yeah, essentially, before Darth Bane and the Rule of 2, there were thousands of Jedi, and between Darth Bane's intervention and not thousands of Jedi, thousands of Sith, but between Darth Bane and the Sith kind of being stupid and there being a bunch of infighting, they all just died off or got killed off.
Yep.
And Darth Bane started the Rule of 2, which led to really everything that we see in our main timeline. Palpatine, Vader, Dooku. It's all because of Darth Bane. And the fact that we get to see him in Clone Wars, I love.
Yep. Yeah, as a Force ghost.
And then the last one I want to talk about, and I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly. I just found out about this guy. Darth Solois?
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of an obscure Sith. I literally found out about him a couple days ago. This boy took on the entire Jedi Council by himself. He lost.
Wow.
But he put up a fight against the entire Jedi Council, and I find that crazy. Wow. And so, rule of 2, he at least gets an honorable mention.
Absolutely, yeah, wow. I mean, because it's... The Jedi Council's what, I don't know, 10, 15?
10 to 20 members, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Depending on the era.
And, who could take on 20 Jedi at once?
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
He was a Jedi for a while, like most Sith fell to the dark side.
Yep.
And he's the same species as the Grand Inquisitor.
Okay.
That we get to see in Revenge of the Sith. They're on the upper levels. Thousands of battle droids.
Oh yeah. The guy on Utapau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
they're holding us hostage.
And I was reading something. Somebody says you can actually fight him in the Force Unleashed, but I don't remember that at all.
I don't either. That guy or the Darth whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, Darth the Solois.
The Solois.
Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce it, but I don't know. I think it's cool that he he takes on the whole Jedi Council. Yeah. Yeah, puts up a fight. And I think because of his actions, I don't remember this exactly, but him and his army end up killing, I think thousands of Jedi.
Yeah.
In this one battle. And his army does lose, and he at the end of it, he takes on the Jedi Council and dies, or at least loses. But again, I think there are few Sith that really like give the Jedi that much trouble.
Yeah, that's impressive. That really is.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead. Did you have another thought on him?
I was just gonna lead us into our number one. So go ahead.
I was gonna say also, this guy wasn't originally on my honorable mention list, but I just feel like we have to mention the elephant in the room, Darth Nihilus.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of people's favorite. He's interesting just because, like, he's a living forced wound, and he has to feed off of life to stay alive. But I also think, too, that he is very cool and very edgy, but he just wasn't, he's just not my favorite. But
yeah,
I did feel compelled to talk about him, though.
He's one of those Sith that's like, I understand why people love him, but just not one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yep. But anyway.
All right, number one, who you got?
Palpatine.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, he does conquer the whole galaxy.
He does, and he holds it. Like, that's the thing, is like, I think it's a lot easier to conquer something than to actually hold it. And he holds it for nearly 20 years.
Close to 20 years? Yeah.
Nearly 20 years.
Oh, wait. No, sorry. It's longer than that, because it's 20 years, or 19 years up to A New Hope. And then I think a year between 4 and 5. No, 3 years between 4 and 5, and then 1 year between 5 and 6. So what is that, 23 years?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a long time, honestly, to have an entire galaxy under your thumb. And it's totally from just his Empire games, like his just political ability. And he is an absolute master at playing those games. And he's very powerful in the Force, but through even his political ability, he kind of proves he doesn't even need it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Which
even though he's amazing.
I love so much. Like, we talked about this before, but if he really did go the route of trying to conquer the galaxy through Force, he might have been able to do it. Like, we talked about this whole hypothetical scenario. He never would have built the clone army, to have the war. So it would have put the Separatists at a big advantage, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who would have won in the end, but it would have been a lot longer. There would have been a lot more bloodshed, and like you said, I don't think he would have been able to hold the galaxy as long as he did.
Yeah, I think only through inspiring loyalty and also inspiring fear, those were the only ways he was able to hold it.
Yeah, and on that loyalty, like, especially things like Andor and the Bad Batch, it's crazy seeing just how loyal people actually are to the Emperor, or even Mandalorian after he dies. Yeah. How hard they're trying to bring him back.
Yeah, quite literally, millions, maybe billions would die for him.
Yeah, they loved Palpatine, and I just think that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's because, again, like, he's just a master of propaganda. He's a master of looking like the savior when he's not. Yeah, I mean, he's just, that's honestly why he's number one on my list, is because he actually was able to hold the galaxy, and the way that he did it was just such a masterful plan. In all reality, I think as far as like combat ability or force ability, the list would be smaller, but I still think, like, there's several Sith who could beat him in a one-on-one fight.
For sure.
Like talking earlier, like Exar Kun, like, I think Exar Kun would kick the crap out of Sidious. But again, and I've mentioned this earlier, not in this episode, but in past episodes, I think just with Palpatine, he was tactical enough and smart enough to where I don't think Exar Kun would have even made it into the throne room.
Yeah, no,
I think
there
would
would
have
have
just
been
killed him before.
there would have been legions of troops between Exar Kun and Palpatine. And we can't forget 100% Vader and the Inquisitors would have been there as well as like a final line.
Yeah, and there'd be some sneaky Sheev trap.
Yep. We can't forget about his Red Guards as well, which, I mean...
They get murked by Yoda so
They get
easily,
murked
though.
by Yoda, but hey, they're still there. We still gotta count them.
Yep.
And even if hypothetically Exar Kun was powerful enough, or any of these other Sith, to fight through everything Palpatine had, by the time they got to Palpatine, they'd just be exhausted.
Yeah.
They would not be at their full strength. And then at that point, I think Palpatine could take them in a fight.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also, like, speaking of, like, you know, mentioned earlier, like, Exar Kun was a master of Force Rage. But, like, whenever you're talking about fighting literally thousands of troops, you can only rage so many times. You know, eventually you would either get tired or just die from being so tired. Yep. And it's just, that's why I think Sidious is the best. And also, like, and I think he's the best by a pretty fair amount.
Big margin.
Just because, like, he did what none of them could do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, again, to the Exar Kun thing, like, I don't even think he would defeat Exar Kun. I think he would get whatever his spirit is attached to and say, serve me or I destroy this.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think that'd be the sneaky Sheev trap.
Yep, he would 100% use Exar Kun as a puppet, just like he did Anakin.
Or also, like, another like, he would, like, Palpatine would, like, figure out how to become a ghost and, like, be attached to Exar Kun's lightsaber. So even if Exar Kun does beat him, he's still haunted by Palpatine for the rest of his life.
Yep.
You know, like some crazy thing like that. Like, he would be that guy. He is that guy. Like, he's
he
crazy.
is him.
He is, man. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, like I mentioned, there's not a single Sith on this list that makes my blood boil the way Palpatine does.
Yep. And he does it on purpose.
He's so smart and manipulative, and, like, I don't think there are many villains that compare to Palpatine. Like, not even just in Star Wars, but, like, villains overall.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, I've seen World War II movies that, like, you know, the bad guys in those don't make me hate them as much as Palpatine does. You know?
Which is insane. Yeah, it's just insane.
Like the movie, like, Inglourious Bastards. I forget that the actor, he's Christoph something. You know what I'm talking about? The main Nazi from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that guy is a really good Nazi. Like, he makes you hate him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, I mean, I think Palpatine is, like, I think Palpatine makes me hate him more. That's just how good of a bad guy he is.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we hate the Nazis.
Absolutely, yeah.
We hate the Nazis.
I brought that up as a very, very clear, you know, someone that I already would hate.
Right, yeah.
You know, yeah. Yep.
Is that all you got on Palpatine?
Yep, that's it.
Dope. My number one, our boy Vader.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one, he is the first Sith we've saw. I think he's the Sith that we've seen the most of. Like, there's the most content out about him. I mean, between multiple video games, multiple movies, tons of books and comics. I don't think there's a Sith that we get as much information on as Vader.
Probably not. I wouldn't. Palpatine's pretty close, though.
Palpatine's definitely close. Yeah. But think about it. Even in, like, A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, we don't really see Palpatine much. And even in Return of the Jedi, we don't really see him till the end.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just... One, he's such a cool Sith. He is an amazing duelist. He's a cyborg, which adds cool factor.
True.
But also, it's a really tragic story. Like, Anakin or in the fall of Anakin Skywalker is just heartbreaking. Every time I watch Revenge of the Sith, I'm sitting there just begging Anakin, this is the time. This is the one where you'll do what's right. He won't fall to the dark side this time.
Yeah.
And he always does. He always does.
Stupid movies.
Stupid movies and the fact that they can't change. Why do they have to be locked into what they filmed and edited and wrote? Ugh. You know, and we've talked about it. Really, the prequels are the fall of Anakin Skywalker, and the original trilogy is the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. But, I mean, we also, just in terms of brutality, we get to see Vader do some crazy things. I mean, the younglings.
Yep.
The Jedi Temple.
Several Jedi Masters.
Several Jedi Masters.
Actually, probably hundreds as far as in that temple. Yeah.
The Separatists, and that's just on his first day.
Yeah.
Over the next, 23 years, he kills hundreds to thousands of people.
Yeah.
There's the Rogue One scene. There's the iconic Kenobi scene where he pulls the ship out of the sky. There's the comic where they've surrounded, and they tell him, you're surrounded, and he's like, only by dead men.
Jeepers. That's a line.
Yeah, right? Just absolutely, I love Vader because on one hand he's this brutal menace, but on the other it's this tragic story of a man who just wanted to save his wife.
Yeah.
And failed.
He was a cunning warrior and a good friend.
A cunning warrior, a good friend, a menace. There's so many titles for Vader, and while he may not be the most powerful on the list, he may not be the one that overtook the galaxy. He may not have even died as a Sith, but I think Vader is the perfect representation of what a Sith is. Just like how Ahsoka, I felt was, even as she wasn't a Jedi, she still represented what a Jedi should be. I think Vader represents what a Sith should be.
Yeah.
You know, and I really think that either Jedi or Sith, without Palpatine, he could have achieved so much more. He really was just shackled by this man who'd been manipulating him since he was a kid.
Yeah, I think so too, if he was by himself. But at the same time, I don't know if Vader could have held the whole galaxy by himself.
I don't think so. I really don't.
I don't think he would have inspired that much loyalty. I mean, he just wasn't a politician.
Right, right. That's why I think, character-wise, he probably would have done better as a Jedi.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that he really represents what a Sith should be, a menace to the galaxy.
Yep.
And I don't think there are few characters, not just in Star Wars, but in all of media, that have as much emotional depth as Vader does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Don't get me wrong, there are fantastic villains in so many different series, but very few of them do we get as much backstory, as much lore, and as much tragedy as we get in Vader.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pretty much all of the Sith, I mean, maybe Malgus had equally as much tragedy. But
I mean,
really,
he did kill his wife too.
Yeah, that's true. But also he remembered it and knew that he did it. It's
right.
Whereas Anakin, I think it's not quite the same case. But either way, aside from those two, pretty much any Sith we've talked about hasn't had the same amount of tragedy in their life. And that's part of what makes Darth Vader such an interesting character, is because he just shows what can happen when a person is just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed with trauma, and
even
just eventually says enough.
Even some of the best people will one bad day is all it takes.
Yeah. And Anakin had several bad days.
Several bad days that just led up to
years.
Just led up to him him falling. And I said this in the last episode, there are few Jedi that killed off the Sith. There are few Sith that killed off the Jedi.
That's true.
It was Palpatine's plan. He orchestrated it all. But I don't think Palpatine could have taken the galaxy without Vader. I really don't. There's no way they would have defeated the Jedi without Vader.
Well, he didn't have the brute force. I mean, he needed, an Exar Kun or a Malgus. He needed one. And Vader was his guy, who's just
Vader
just
was
an
him.
absolute animal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, we said it. Yeah. We said it a couple podcasts ago. If Anakin had stayed on the light side, not only would we have to consider all the Jedi he killed himself that would have stayed alive to fight clones, but also, I mean, Anakin would have just put clones down if he was in the temple.
Oh, I think so too. And also, I think Anakin also would have, in that scenario, probably have been upset enough to where he even tapped into the dark side a little bit and just would have just crushed clone troopers. I think it just would have been just disgusting how much he beat him. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Vader's him, and my final thought is he was cool.
Absolutely.
He was cool. I like that.
All the Sith
Rule
we
of
just named
cool.
are cool. Rule of cool, baby. Rule of cool.
Well, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, can't say I do.
Great. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Animal Squadron. We really appreciate it. And I'm excited for what we've got coming up. If you guys have any questions for us, or if we got anything wrong, or you just want to be a part of this conversation, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com. And we will see you in the next one. For the Animal Squadron, this has been Mother Goose.
And the Minot.
See ya, everybody.
Adios.